What we're going to be doing in this video is going through how to print your W-2 and W-3 forms. Obviously, you'll go to Office Depot or Staples and buy the actual forms, the 6-part forms from them for however many employees you need. And once you get the forms, they're broken down into different sections. So you have the employees version, the company's version, and your W-3s, and so you've got all the different sections of the paper. What you're going to do is you're going to pull each section out, and then we're going to go through the process in Lizzy for actually printing those things. Now, what happens first is we're going to go in and we're going to tell it that we want to. So right now I'm in Reports, Payroll, and then I'm selecting on the form W-2, W-3. We're going to start the interview process. So this is just the beginning of the process. So we're going to go ahead and hit start. We're going to select the year that we want to generate the W-2s for. We're going to select next. If you see this gather button over here, then you want to go ahead and click it to go out and gather whatever payroll data is out there. You may not see that, and if you don't, then that's perfectly okay. If you need to edit other income in any of the employees' boxes, you can select here and actually edit that. That's the box 14 on the form. Now, all we're going to do is kind of review everybody's payroll that we have in here, and I'm in the demo database, so this is all just a bunch of junk that's in here, so nothing really has any purpose. I'm just kind of showing you how to go through this. But basically what we're doing is we're telling it who we are and what, if there is any additional income. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and hit next. At this point, we can enter in a control number if you want. This number is not necessary, it's not required, and it's just a count so that you can keep up with which forms are printing out. It's really, I don't use it, but you can fill it in, like put 1 in there if you want. But the main thing is what kind of payer you are down here. Now, if you're a company paying your employees, then you're probably a 941. And then down here, you're selecting the type of form that we're printing on. So right now we're telling it that it's a 6-part form, which is the only type of form that Lizzy currently supports. But we're going to go ahead and select the form, and this particular form number, there's actually a different number on there depending on how many you get and stuff, so it's possible that your part number might be a little bit different, but the main thing is what we're actually generating. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. And so what you're presented with here is the final screen for generating the report. Now what Lizzy is going to do is she's going to create a PDF file that's going to have all of your data on it so that you can print it to the W-2 form and the W-3 forms. Now I recommend, because you can print this and do this as many times you want to here, I recommend printing out 1 page of one and then holding it up to your forms to make sure everything lines up before you actually do it. And I'm going to go through a couple things you need to pay attention to here. But let's say that the first thing that we're printing out is the Social Security Administration copy. So we take those, we stick them in the printer oriented so that they actually print correctly. We're going to tell it to print. And you'll notice when we do this, it's just going to download a copy of the W-2 and where we can open it up as a PDF file. Now, this part is simple. However, before we actually get to printing, so we're going to go ahead and tell it to print a copy of this. But before we actually tell it to print, we need to make sure that the option here to print the actual size is selected and that we're not scaling this. Some of the older versions actually just have scale, and then you tell it what percentage to scale to. We need to make sure that this is printing the actual size of the piece of paper, because Adobe by default is going to shrink the report down to make it print on, to make sure that everything prints on the page. But we do not want it to do that, because if we allow it to do that, things are not going to line up correctly. So that's one of the reasons that I would print a single copy. So to do that before we get started, we're just going to tell it to print the current page, and then we're going to tell it to print a copy. We're going to go get it off the printer, and we're doing this before we put any forms in the printer. We're going to hold it up to the light in front of one of our copies to make sure that all the fields are all lining up correctly. And then once we're sure, then we're just going to come back in here and we're going to hit the Control P or Command P. We're going to print another. We're going to tell it to print all of them this time. We're going to take our forms, stick them in the printer, and then print them. And then the thing will print out all of those, and then all you do is close this control for the PDF, come down to the next set of forms that you're going to print, hit the print button on it. It'll bring up the same control. You open it up. You don't have to test this. You can if you want to, but once you make sure one of them lines up, they all generally line up. And also that setting, once you set it to not scale, it'll stay set that way as well. So those two things getting set will make sure that all the rest of them print correctly. But that's it. You just basically run the prints off for each of the forms that you have, and then you've got all of your W-2s and W-3s. The W-3 information is down here at the bottom. Those are generally the pink thing with just one section on it. But all of the forms that you need to print out your W-2s and W-3s are all done from right here, and that's pretty much all there is to it.